Good evening, everyone. The Charmaine Roll, FIE's Junkanoo Rush, powered by Alive. Folks, we are live tonight with some essential workers. And boy, plenty things going down, people. Plenty things going down. Freeport on lockdown. You know, if we and Nassau don't catch ourselves, we can be locked down too. You know? So I'm just
Uh,
go ahead and introduce yourselves. And then we're gonna start. Go ahead, Noe.
Noel St. Claude from Genesis.
An essential worker. You could tell them where you work and everything if you want.
Well, I'm a chef by trade. I work out of Balmoral Kitchen. Also, I do small things from home also. And besides that, I work through the community helping where I can.
Okay. Go ahead, Kenny.
My name is Kenny Knowles. I'm a physician at PMH. I'm a family medicine resident at the Princess Margaret Hospital, work for PHA.
All right. Next.
I rush in Junkanoo.
I'm telling you, man. You don't come around here playing like you're so small.
Yeah.
You understand me, Noel?
Yeah, that's about it for me.
But you know my call group.
No way.
No, those Valley Boys, man, always.
Hi, my name is Phaedra Cash. I'm a retention specialist at UVL. Most know it. We're a part of Sandals as well. I am a frontline dancer for Genesis. Yeah. Good night.
Well, folks, this is who we have tonight. You know, we gave out a few invitations, and through all this ups and downs, you know, this what we got and this what we're gonna go with. Because there was too much shake up today. You know, I had some last minute calls, people, you know, saying, you know, they're apologizing and stuff, but it is what it is. But we here to talk Junkanoo. So let me give you guys a little bit of update.
Yeah.
This past weekend, I'd like to say big up to Junior Curry and PK Knights who invited me down to Freeport for the weekend. You know, to just talk about their shack, and it was back in the shack. We did some excellent interviews, and I did a lot of unsung heroes, a lot of persons in Freeport who make Junkanoo possible. They came to the shack to get the interviews, and actually Junior invited some persons from the other Junkanoo shacks to come on and do their interviews also. So, you know, he spread it around. But at the last minute, y'all know how our Bohemian go. Everybody calling me won't come. But listen, I know the Prime Minister was coming with something, and I was out of there. Man, listen, when I looked, Eddie ran 3:30, I keep watching the clock. I say, Watchman, what time it is? Watchman, what time? He said, 4:45. I say, buddy, let's go.
Time to go.
To the airport. I was parked from that morning. I sit down in the airport. When I look, I hear people talking. I quiet in the corner. I see 5 o'clock. I mean, 4:45 come. They saying the plane ain't reached yet. I say, wow. Tell me the Prime Minister, the longest place down me trying to get over here. I said, but okay. Tell me you should say. So you gotta give people notification. You got people in places. You gotta, you know, adjust them around. So when I check stock, look, 5 o'clock come. They say the flight was running a couple of minutes late. And when I look, 5:30. Quarter to 6, they start to call a flight, but at least it gives me an opportunity to try and listen to the Prime Minister because he was making so much noise.
Well,
you understand? I was like, man, I trying to hear what the man trying to say, man.
Yeah.
And I tried looking on my phone to try and catch bits and pieces, but I say I know after a lot of notices, and then I would have been able to go online and just rewatch it.
Right.
But yeah, man. But I had a beautiful time in Freeport, and you know, big up to all the swingers and I interviewed some people from Abaco and all different places. And the main thing about it, everybody is so enthusiastic about Junkanoo, but we realize that we have to set our standards. We have the safety precautions is of vital importance. And we got 3 feet apart or 6 feet. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You know, and so now we here this week with the essential workers, and you know, I want to get some a gas station attendants. I wanted to get some cashiers. I wanted to get a mixture of people, but you know, everybody's so scattered right now, and what's been happening from we going from opening July 1st, the 5th,
Correct.
2 cases that have everybody running around with chicken with their head cut off.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
So
right.
can you update us a little bit about that in that field of actually what's happening?
Well, I don't think a whole lot has changed in terms of what's going on in the medical field. And I mean, as far as the public is concerned, it's still the same indications out there in terms of what to do, in terms of the social distancing, the washing the hands, sanitization, um, wearing the masks. They said before people with that lives with elderly people, having to be careful around them, because they're a lot more susceptible to the complications of the disease also. And by now everybody has been bombarded with the information that they need to know, especially over the past, I don't know, this months now.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of keeping on the pressure. We already been through it, and now is another surge. I think in a way they was expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
how I feel about that, Kenny. Not cutting you off. I feel like where we open the borders and we allow the persons to travel for those 72 hours. I think a lot of people really took the opportunity to go, and then they didn't really have to be tested when they came back. They only took a temperature.
one of the things too is our neighbors, our proximity to the United States. The United States from the start of this COVID thing, they really politicized the whole COVID thing in a way, and they never react
Mm-hmm.
the way that the other that everybody else, with countries who were initially affected, like Italy, Korea, and all them. China, in the Wuhan, area where it all started. They made they was an example of why we needed to do what we had to do. They paid the price early, and
Yeah.
so like countries like our little country, we jumped, we went at it aggressively. You know what I'm saying? From the start. And we have the numbers that show, I mean, we had our rough time, but we locked down when we were supposed to. The United States seemed as they never did. It was very political. You had half the place doing one thing. You had their leaders kind of making light of the situation when they should have been locking it down. And then when it finally hit, like it hit New York, Florida,
Yeah.
they got overwhelmed. And then when they started to maybe catch a little grip on it, then you had all the Black Lives Matter
Correct. Protest. Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
I got
it
it.
caused a surge all over again.
I know it was gonna be really it was gonna be really bad. You know, I know it's gonna be really bad because plenty of people's walking around without masks and stuff.
Yeah, and you had a lot of people, large numbers of people in close proximity, ignoring all the
All the
rules.
protocols. Mm-hmm.
All the protocols was just out the window. And then, whenever America gets, catch a flu, we or sneeze, we get it. And so
Yeah.
I think that's a part of the our little surge we have, So, a lot of Bahamians probably was back and forth, and that's just what it is. So I guess now what we have is we know what to do.
Right.
Just got to do it. And,
But I'd like to welcome my co-host, Paparazzi Papa. Papa, you there? Paparazzi. He ain't answering. Go ahead, Junior. Go ahead, Kenny.
yeah, no, so that's, I mean, I think that has most to do with what we're experiencing right now. It's one of them things, in the long run, this stuff happens. You go have surge here and there. I guess in the way it was expected. It's a bad time. There's a lot of people, it's tough, but that's just the nature of the beast with this pandemic thing,
Yes.
and we living in it, and you just gotta knuckle down, you know.
Well, I saw today that a list came out saying certain things would be open, and it is actually the essential workers that is making it happen right now because they put out a list today in Freeport saying only the essential workers Freeport, Casino Port, Bahama Rock, Baco subcontractors, the industrial people, Neiman Brewery, security companies, and so only construction workers for hurricane repairs. It's the only people they basically have actually working. Paparazzi, Papa, we getting a feedback from you. You all hearing? And he's still in there. And also they saying they are now, the religious service is now locked down to 10 people. So, it's locked down for 10 people. So, boy, I don't know. But at this time, the essential workers is the most important. The grocery store people, the gas station people. Good night, Papa. Everybody, welcome, Papa. Boy, we've been talking to you for about 5 minutes. Hey, Papa, we've been talking.
I signed in, then I had to pull away. I had to pull away do something. Good night to all. I had to pull away do something.
Oh,
sorry about that.
We talking to you. I introducing you. Everybody. All we could hear was the little girl talking, so we had to mute the mic. Yeah, but we was just talking about how the lockdown, Papa, and how we have essential persons tonight, and right now the essential workers are of utmost importance to us right now because the Freeport lockdown for 2 weeks, and if we don't be careful, we can be right back there.
Exactly.
No, you can speak to that.
Yeah, I keep up abreast on it and everything and follow it. And based on the trend what's going on, if we don't be careful, like you say, we'll be on the next lockdown. Because I've been some places and I've seen some things and I just shake my hand. The partying. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having good, clean fun, but follow the protocols.
Correct.
And be honest with you, most places hardly anybody following the protocols.
Charles?
That's a scary part.
Yeah.
You wearing your mask in the food store, you wearing your mask in the gas station and clothing store, but as soon as you get in the liquor stores or the bars or the restaurants, I mean, you're sitting down in a restaurant, you can't even put your mask on, don't get me wrong. But then it comes to times where you see the hooping in 10s, 20s, 30s, and they just having a good time and they just chilling and talking and having a good time. And like I say, you know who you be with every day. But then when these new persons walking up, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if they're safe. You don't know if they're sick or not. And you're putting yourself at risk. And this is the scary part.
Well, I saw a flyer today, I think it was yesterday, and the flyer said, okay, you got to put your mask on around your family. You got to put your mask on when you go out. You got to put your mask around your friends. Because you don't see, the thing about it is you could be with your family and like say for instance, I go out, I don't know who I being around. And then I home to my family. Even my friends, because that's my friend, I say, I don't have to put on my mask. No, I can't say just because that's my friend. I put on the mask.
Right.
Or my co-workers, that's my co-worker, I don't have to put on my mask. I still got to put on my mask no matter where I go.
Yes,
that's
I agree.
True.
That is so important because even a lot of persons have children, like how Papa was girls there. He got to because he don't know you. You understand?
That's the truth. Because I have twins at home as well, and so I'm very cautious when I even go to the food store. If I go to work and I come home, I have a routine where before I even touch them, I have to, just take off all and just cleanse all of that because you don't know, and they are, they could get anything. It's just crazy, but you have to be careful even going by family members because, their level of cleanliness too may not be the same, or they may think it's not as important as it is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we speak to this Junkanoo situation, it's getting clearer and clearer that I don't think we're gonna have a parade. I just
I don't see it.
It ain't gonna happen.
Hey, I had I was thinking the other day, and I was saying, the last real pandemic that the Bahamas really experienced was the HIV virus. And
that's right.
20, 30 years later, we still don't have a vaccine for the HIV virus. We got all kind of little things to make you feel better, right, Doc? But we still don't have a cure. Yeah. And it's 30 years later.
HIV virus now is like a what they call like a chronic illness. It could be well maintained. You live pretty much a normal life now. You know, that's where it's at now. The treatment, as long as you follow your therapy, you okay.
You're okay, yeah.
Oh, it ain't, that death sentence what it used to be.
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
But I mean, in terms of we still don't have a cure or we don't have a vaccine.
Yeah.
So COVID could go on for many years. This is no guarantee this could be everybody talk about a year and a half fix or next year we should be back or no guarantee.
Even if you look at something as simple as the flu.
Yeah.
You ain't got no vaccine. I mean,
it's a treatment.
Cure for quite a bit of these things. The coronavirus is new, and we're still learning a lot of things about it. It's still giving a lot of surprises. The after effects, years after, we still don't know what's going to happen. All kind of chronic stuff comes from it. We still don't know some of the presentation, still a mystery. So it's new, and we're just learning, and that's what makes it so scary, is because you're just learning so much about it. One day is one way, like we've all seen. One set of rules come out. Then, a couple of weeks later, no, that was wrong. We go to the next one, so all that is a part of what makes it such a problem. So, the most we could do now is go with the basics that we do know, like social distancing, sanitization, trying to keep out of the large groups of people. That's just the way, so, to at least make it manageable by the health systems. Where, it doesn't overwhelm, and then you have time to be able to treat and figure it out. But when you have this bombardment of cases coming at you, you're just trying to keep people alive, and you can't really focus all the attention that needs to be focused on figuring out the disease. So that's a part of it, It takes time.
Not only that, I thought about it too, with the bar situation, when we get, they call it wine spirit, when we get them things, and as people don't be careful no more. They just we have a happy-go-lucky time and forget about masks and forget about social distancing, forget about talking and the droplets all over the place. And a lot of people, making a bunch of noise about the bars and all these other stuff being closed down. And I feel bad for fish fry, and I feel bad for the persons who lose, all their livelihood from that. But yet still, I prefer to be alive.
That's true.
Than to be worrying about all those other stuff. If you're alive, then you ain't got nothing to worry about that.
Exactly.
That's right. All those tangible things could be replaced.
They could be replaced. Because I saw a guy who's on the news this morning. He's talking about he just buy a bunch of stuff and it's gonna go to waste, and it ain't gonna go waste. Carry it to one of those homes and share it out to either the Ramsey home or Liberty House or Unity House or one of those people. Plant a seed.
That's right.
I would want to see him again. I would want to see him.
He'll be surprised to see what happened.
Say it again.
He'll be surprised to see what happened with that little giving.
Right.
He wouldn't have to worry about his business because his business will be protected. And that's how I basically see this whole thing now with this pandemic. Even like when we cook, or if we cook from home and we do stuff and we have stuff leave over, we package it and we give it away.
Yeah.
Because you helping your brothers and you helping your sisters, and then you not only that, you helping yourself in the long run.
Yeah.
God's hands will always be on you in the process. In this time, you just can't think about yourself. Exactly. And most persons just thinking about themselves. I mean, you should think about yourself, don't get me wrong, but don't just think about yourself.
Understand.
Well, I could say, we can't be selfish at this time. We always have to be our brother's keeper. And, when I was in Freeport, I visited, I went over the bridge what everybody was talking about. I wanted to see what over the bridge looked like. I've been down in the back there and I was flabbergasted. In them movies when they say you're walking through the desert and you see all these things just sticking up on the sand. And you know, that's how it is. Like trees just there, and it looked like a desert land. And these places where people, a lot of persons lost their lives.
Yes.
There, and you can imagine. Okay, we have this hurricane season coming up again.
Yeah.
Yep. And September's almost here when most of the active activities happen.
Yeah.
No, I some of the shocks that I've been to, you could tell, well, the shocks in Freeport itself in the inner city, so they didn't get damaged too bad, but you could tell how the hurricane came through. It touched one building and it didn't touch the next one, so that means they had all kind of tornadoes and stuff.
Tornadoes.
Because
Yeah.
it was hopping over buildings. You know, it was hopping over buildings, and you know, like I told Junior in Freeport, you know, I congratulate him for doing a lot of community service, really reaching out to all the Junkanooers after the fact and trying to make sure that they got water and they had perishables, and you know, at least they could have lived, because you know, Freeport had a lot of things sent to them.
Yeah.
They had a lot of things sent to them, and so they were able to help a lot of the Junkanoo persons and all of the older persons in the community. And let me tell you something. Platinum Nights ready, buddy. I been in they shop. They got 10 off the shoulders ready. They got a lead piece ready. They got a banner ready. In the road, I say, buddy, this is for 2021. Eh?
But see, it's being me now.
No, 2020.
No, because we at 2020 now.
Yeah.
So that got to be for 2021 next year, the end part.
Boxing Day. And not even New Year's. Boxing
No.
Day.
I would say, okay, if they say we may have Junkanoo in February, right? How you all feel about this Junkanoo in February? I don't know. Papa, what do you feel about that?
It doesn't make a difference in February, March, April, May, June, July, until we get a hold of the situation at hand.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't make a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
And as far as the social distancing is concerned, everybody seemed to like feel as if that the virus left us. But as you can see, with resurgence in cases all over the place, that it hasn't. And we have to be even more vigilant than before.
Right.
Because I mean, we can see what's happening in Florida right now. That's just crazy, man. It's just so we, all of us, everybody collectively have to do our part. As you can see, I can't social distance from this one.
Oh no!
As much as I would, but as much as I'd like to try.
I understand.
So
you gotta be on your feet, buddy. Because you gotta be here to see walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
Understand? You gotta be on your P's and Q's.
I can't see it.
The thing about it is, even like we say with the social distancing, I see the other day, Ian Brathwaite's wife from Valley Boys, wife's birthday, and they rush. Man, I shared the video, but I hear the music. I said, let me see what it says, and I share it. Man, somebody grabbed that video, Papa, and they posted in another group, and they say, this right here will cause them COVID. See the Junkanoo was spreading the COVID. Look at them, look at them, look at them.
Exactly what I was gonna say. I saw the video too, and I was like, I was excited for the Junkanoo, but then when I really thought about it, I was like, oh, this isn't a good look. No mask, everybody pretty close.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we as Junkanoos have. We are social people.
Yes.
We like the humans as a whole are social.
Like
like
the hug thing,
yeah. Like to touch your hand, like to feel you know, make sure you're still living. You know what I mean? So when we get comfortable,
and then
you know what I mean? That's what happens.
One another.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what that really says is that it's nothing about Junkanoo.
No.
that is in line with
COVID-19.
No.
COVID from the whistling, from the sweating, from the proximity. There is nothing about Junkanoo. Nothing about Junkanoo.
I've seen them try the social distance at the funeral. I mean, the actual rush. They were able to distance, right? But the socializing before the rush.
Right.
Everybody was right up on top of each other. It wasn't a problem.
No.
When the actual rush happened, everybody went 6 feet apart, but we done been up on each other.
Exactly.
Prior to. So it's just a matter of getting the consciousness to practice it. I mean, it's gonna be difficult. It's a process, you know what I mean? It's like I equate it to the HIV virus prior to, you know. You had to use a condom. So you got to put your mask on.
That's right.
So this is civilized, you know what I mean? And you can't put your mask down here.
I
know.
Down here. And then you got to watch what you touch because it's such a touchy-feely thing.
Yeah. But you see, it's all political in the States now because they got.
Oh yeah.
I just watched a video today where this Caucasian woman, was in a food store and she had on her mask and they had big thing. They called the police and the police come and she said she ain't wearing no mask and the president don't wear no mask and then the president putting on the mask one day and then he a couple hours later he with his friends and he ain't got on the mask and everybody taking pictures. I say, Lord have mercy.
Well, he had a press conference today, Donald Trump, and he's singing a completely different tune now. He preaching social distancing, he preaching about the mask, the whole scene. So I guess pretty much finally he came around. They say it's like 109 days after the CDC told him.
Yeah, but see, I even looking at it, 130,000 people then die because of your ignorance.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know,
see,
so
remember now, them people got family, who got family, who got family, who got family.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah. So that's, you know, so.
He first talk was 15. It's only 15 people will be going in a second. How much that 15 multiplied to? And you could imagine the families with suffering and people that's still in every day. They have been 15,000 people die a day.
Wow.
And the sad thing is, that's the 15 you know of.
I know about, yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Well, the man say, if you stop testing, then there ain't gonna be no more. As he say.
Yeah, that's what he say. He say let's do less testing so the numbers can look good.
Yeah, but you can't do the less testing you do, the more people get sick, because then you can't control the virus because you don't know what's happening.
Exactly.
Well, I think a lot of times what some of the places doing now is they testing people that comes in symptomatic, with like respiratory symptoms and stuff like that, you know, or how come in with a history of possible symptoms like the fever, you know, the cough and whatnot, then they automatically testing them right away, you know. But in terms of just going around arbitrarily testing anybody who looks well, who just to say they testing, I mean, that ain't so much.
But the problem is a lot of people asymptomatic, eh?
Right.
No.
So, yeah, a lot of people are asymptomatic. So what they just, you know, if that's the case, you tell them and then you put them in quarantine for a lot of amount of time, the 2 weeks.
Yeah, but my question is this: if you put them in quarantine for 14 days, are you putting them on medication? Are they just waiting for it to happen? What happens during the quarantine?
Symptomatic, you know. I mean, it ain't really any reason to treat, you know, anything in particular out the gate, you know. So most of the time, we're just trying to deal with the symptoms of the condition and the secondary things that it causes. You know, trying to keep them alive. So that's pretty much how that goes. You see, so finding the people. So it's hard. You see, it ain't no easy way of dealing with this because, like I said, it's new. So no one have the perfect idea as to what to do. You know, we still learn it as you go along. So it's not going to be a perfect execution in terms of dealing with it. That's why you see so many changes and whatnot. It's not. And so, you know, so a lot of people find that hard to understand, I guess, in some ways. But you know, that's just what it is. You know, that's one of the big things. In terms of what can happen with Junkanoo, I can't really see anything much going on with Junkanoo as long as the COVID threat is there. I mean, we could fool ourselves and come up with these little stop gaps and whatnot, but it ain't Junkanoo as we know it. So, I mean, what you could do, you know? It's nothing about COVID. Junkanoo and COVID don't go out. That's like oil and water.
Yeah, they don't
go.
Can't go.
That's how I see it. Now, it's going to be tough because one of the things that we didn't mention with this COVID thing is the mental aspect.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Lockdowns and stuff like that. If you were really already predisposed to depression and anxiety and stuff, just the general underlying nature of this whole pandemic thing going on, you know, it causes, you know, it's tough. And a lot of Junkanoo was this used Junkanoo as to be therapeutic.
Yeah.
To get away, to clear your head, to get away.
To get away. When you're having bad times, bad you go in the shock and get lost in it.
That's right.
I've done many times.
Many times.
Doc, what are some?
That's some of my best work just come out of stressful periods.
That's right.
Kenny, what are some of the symptoms of depression?
I heard, I saw that today in something. I think you posted that, Papa. You posted that, yes.
That's the one I posted today, yeah.
Stuff like, when you start to feel tired all the time, loss of interest in things that you would usually, be involved in or find good to be, change in the temperament of your attitude. In terms of concentration, loss of concentration, it presents in many, many ways. You know what I'm saying? And along with depression, another one of the things is anxiety. Anxiety comes behind. And these things, they is like the effects of that stress, depression, anxiety. Trust me, the ways that they could present is a multitude of ways. And this, the atmosphere that we're in now is like a breeding ground for, it's not good. And, just so things like Junkanoo, what would usually be a lot more of a stress reliever or a lot more of a help. When you take that away now, because a lot of people just depend on Junkanoo to kick in around now.
Yeah.
and the excitement, and because we would have already started to hear who doing what a little bit, and them fellas already in the shock.
Yeah.
Roots are in the shock. Roots is being in shock from January.
Yeah. Constipation
next week.
According to them, so they would have already, everybody, that excitement, just trying to find that so you can get lost in it for the next 6 months and be involved. Now, when you take that away in a pandemic situation, it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. And everybody know we as Junkanoo, we different.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
You got to be in it to know,
Yeah. I always tell people that if you want to bother it, you ain't got to understand it.
Yeah. Never understand it by watching it.
Yeah. So, so this whole situation, I still interested to see how many of us, how we can make it in December. I don't know what I could do. All of us could just be sitting around probably pacing something.
Go well.
Cutting paper and just cutting and pacing paper.
Have a virtual pacing off of the virtual parade then.
Right on doing pacing. So, that's just how it is, man. It's tough and it's going to be quite different. I think one of the things that, like, I hear Papa ask about the February rush and whatnot. I don't know what they can do because you don't know, even if it lightens up, would it be light?